Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us in another episode of the Nightmare Hunters. We got mostly a full house tonight. Steve had to work, unfortunately, but you have to put up with us three yahoos. We're going to do our best to keep you all entertained, and we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting subject tonight. And I think you guys are going to truly enjoy it. This one's been a long time coming. We've done Wendigo shows in the past, but I think we're really going to be hitting a lot more levels tonight. Plus, we're also going to be discussing not only other historical events that might possibly be Wendigo involved, as well as modern sightings. So. In that effect, I'm going to introduce my co-host. We got Robbie Jed Rains, who is fixing to drop his sixth book on y'all, and Carrie Pocket Doc Davis coming to us from the great state of Colorado via Mississippi. And we are damn glad to have these boys with us in the house tonight. Boys, how the hell are you guys tonight?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Always love hearing that. Yeah, Robbie, how you doing, brother? I was going to call you Jed.
6-1, half dozen other. I'll answer to it.
He'll answer to it.
Doc's, Jed's having a good night because his team's winning.
I'm doing good. 31-10. I'm doing real good.
We got a pretty full house. We got almost 100 people watching already, and we're what 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in. So that's pretty awesome. Welcome everybody here in the chat. Oh, we already got our first super chat. No, I'm sorry. Travis Drum is celebrating 40 months as a member of the Nightmare Hunters. He says, "Howdy, boys! Finally able to catch you guys live. Usually have to watch the next day. Can't wait for the stream tonight. Going to be a good one." Well, we certainly hope so. And hey, brother, thank you for being a member. 40 months, dude. That's almost 4 years. That's awesome. Thank you, man. And we've got a hell of a lot of people in the chat already. And this is chat's flying. Mods are in there. Hey, Ryan Paul Tremblay's in the house. Hey, Ryan, good to see you, brother. Ain't seen you in a hot minute. It's always good to have you in the house. And folks, I think we are going to definitely have fun tonight talking about some interesting stories, interesting cases. And Doc's wearing his commemorative T-shirt for tonight. For those of you who remember Codename Wild Hunt, Cry of the Wendigo, Doc lost the snowmobile tragically in that book. But in that effect, have a moment of silence for Doc's snowmobile.
He was a noble steed.
Now you made me think of Shrek. Noble steed. Hear that? I'm a noble steed.
Noble steed.
Anyway, before we get too far off the rails or off the snowmobile track, hey, Northwest Media just sponsored the channel. That's awesome. Thank you.
General wants to know how close we are to 10K from.
How close are we to 10K? That is an excellent question. We are, as of this particular moment, come up there. We are 83 away. We're 83 away from the 10,000 mark, and that's going to be huge. And like I said, we're going to have some good giveaways when we break that 10K mark. For those of you who've been paying attention to saw the thumbnail, the question y'all might have for us is, what exactly is a Wendigo? And since Doc is our resident victim / expert, we're going to start out and let Doc give us a little bit of description.
Is he technically the victim, or is his snowmobile?
A little of both, because he was in Dark Frontiers. He was a victim too.
True, in Dark Frontiers, he was a victim.
True. He was an unwilling participant.
Yes, I was. So I mean, and that's honestly that's a great question, and it's honestly a question that doesn't really have a simple answer. It's fascinating and terrifying at the same time, and the big thing is you got to take this seriously and with respect due to the nature of the creature, whether you think it's irrelevant or not. It's easy to say it doesn't exist in your nice little living room, wherever that may be. But when you're out in the woods, it's definitely quite another. And trust me, as I know in the book and everything, when the icy chill of winter grips you, and you hear the wind howling, you see the glowing eyes from your campfire light. What happens? When that happens, our definitely, we're typically the apex predator, right? We're top of the food chain, but that gets called into question. So the big thing is about a cryptid. Wendigo is not a cryptid. Is defined as an unknown animal. And cryptozoology is the study. The Wendigo is not an animal. It never was. It's something that we were for.
Doc, you're kind of cutting out on us here.
I'm sorry.
Shatner's ham-fisting it anyway.
Huh?
I said Shatner's ham-fisting it anyway.
I don't know what's going on, man.
He was kind of cutting out a little bit there. Your audio was going in and out.
That's weird.
That and he done bulldozed through the barriers that you set up. He just kept on going.
It's that damn satellite, man. I don't know. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Where did I
thank you for the super chat, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
But
the big thing with Wendigo is not a cryptid. A cryptid is defined as an unknown animal. You know what I mean? And cryptozoology is a study. So the Wendigo is not an animal. It never has been an animal, never will be an animal. It's something worse, and it might be the most dangerous predator we've ever had to stalk us or stalk during the night. And it comes from northern Native American tribes, primarily the Algonquin, up near where we know is now as present day New York State, the Canadian border up there, and Wendigo, Wendigook, Wendigo. I mean, there's a lot of different names that thing has, but they all describe a similar creature. Did y'all hear me okay on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robbie, go ahead.
Listen, somebody read through what I'm supposed to go through, so I'm going to go ahead and go through what you're going to go through. Shatner.
Sorry.
That's why I said Shatner's ham-fisting it again.
Sorry.
Eventually, everybody will know what that line came from. Love you, Doc. So, unlike Bigfoot, the Wendigo isn't a natural creature. It's the embodiment of hunger, starvation, and greed. It's more like a Native American demon than an animal as such. May not be able to truly be killed. There are ways to bring one down, but as a malevolent nature spirit, stopping it permanently may not be possible. During a harsh winter, when food is running low, those who break the taboo of eating human flesh can turn into a Wendigo. Other times, excessive greed can attract the spirit of the beast. Even in modern psychology, there's a condition known as Wendigo psychosis. Could this explain the ancient fear the Native Americans held of the creature? Maybe, but might only be a symptom of the true Wendigo.
Doc, before we go any farther, could you tell us a little bit about Wendigo psychosis itself?
Well, I mean, there has actually been a documented case up in Canada of Wendigo psychosis. That's where a lot of the legend of the Wendigo comes from, modern wise. And it was from this guy who was a guide for a hunting party and actually ended up not like kind of like Alfred Packer or Richard Donner. They ate the hunting party type of thing. But they said he was Native American and he became possessed by this spirit. And so they say that whenever the cannibalism takes effect, that you can basically take in this evil spirit, and they are never fully satisfied. They're never sated. Their hunger is never sated, and so that's the reason. What's the appearance of a Wendigo that we talk about? What they always look like? They're all
skeletal,
emaciated. Yeah, they're starving. So it's this never-ending hunger that they have. So that's what we know as what the Wendigo is. It's this never-ending hunger, and it literally will devour everything in its path. So it's kind of a terrifying creature because like conventional means, our conventional armaments, as we put it, that don't really have any effect on it. So how does it propagate itself, and how can we end it? Is what we're going to talk about.
Right. whatever the actual root cause of Wendigo psychosis or even the Wendigo spirit itself, the results are, you should be scared. I mean, they're terrifying when you stop to think about them. Essentially it's an unstoppable, ravenous beast that was once a person, and with an insatiable, unending hunger for human flesh. The creature has other purported abilities as well, which are, well, to be truthful, just as terrifying as the other abilities.
Right.
But whether or not you choose to believe in a Wendigo is not entirely up to you. I mean, whether or not you choose to believe in it, that you can do that. But just because you don't believe it, don't mean it can't get you. We've known for a long time that just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it can't get you. At one time, nobody believed serial killers were a thing yet. The FBI says at any given time, there's about 40 operating in the United States at any given time. So, again, that's one of those things, whether you choose to believe in it or not, they're there. As a society, we seem to think that we're the masters of this planet. Yet there's still massive expanses of deep ocean and deep woods that has probably never seen a human and may never see a human, at least in our lifetimes. You get into some of the expanses of the Pacific Northwest or across the Rocky Mountains. Hell, there's still valleys of the Rocky Mountain range that's probably never had a human set foot in them. We like to think we've explored it all, but we just haven't. We've explored, what is it, Robbie? You're the ocean guy. What is it? Less than 4% or 5% of the oceans we may have explored.
Yeah, it's no more than 5%.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Well, think about how deep the Marianas Trench is, and that's is not the deepest part of the ocean. And we haven't just,
that's the deepest part of the ocean we know of.
Yeah, we know of. Right.
So, and now the really, really scary part about that is we've when you talk about these deep woods of how little we've actually explored, like you get up to close to the Arctic Circle in Canada, nobody lives up there. Like 95% of the Canadian population lives along the U.S.-Canadian border. You can look that up. I'm not pulling that statistic out of my butt. Like 95% of Canada's population lives right along the U.S. border. You get farther north and it just gets more and more sparse. Very few people, mostly First Nations, that live farther north. And even those are sparse communities. In fact, there's some communities up in like northern British Columbia that are only accessible by plane. They're just in the middle of nowhere. No roads go to these communities. So God knows what's out there. But the really crazy part, and this is what cracks me up with so many people think we've explored everything, we're still finding species every day that were never documented before. Most of the time there's a form of insect, but every once in a while we find something big. And for example, I referenced the billy ape, the killer ape theory. Everybody thought it was a load of crap, that the natives were talking about these killer apes that hunted lions and carried off villagers. And they're like, oh, no, that's bullshit. That doesn't happen. Gorillas are peaceful. Then what was it, 1999, National Geographic caught them on tape. The billy ape is big. It's a distant cousin of the eastern chimpanzee. It walks on two legs most of the time. It hunts people and lions. They call them the lion killers. And that was known to the natives long before National Geographic discovered it.
Oh, and they use tools, by the way.
Oh, yeah, tool users.
Wait, you said it hunts people?
Oh, yeah, it'll drag. If the local villagers don't keep their kids locked up at night, they go missing.
Good to know.
Yeah, the billy ape is highly intelligent, highly aggressive, and a tool user. Like I said, we discover new species all the time. And if you've been out in the woods near your town, if you've walked out into the woods, I'm going to be willing to bet most of you have not, gone off grid days and days into the deep woods. I've gone pretty far into the woods, but I've never spent like a week in the backcountry. If you've never been in the backcountry, you don't know what the deep woods are like. And I'm including myself on that. I've been out in some deep woods, but I've never been way like we're blazing a trail backcountry. I would love to, but I've never been there. The thing is until you've actually been out in that backcountry, you can't imagine how thick those woods really are. And without really being out there and seeing those things, it's like walking into your backyard and go, yep, there's no Bigfoot out here, so they don't exist. Most of us in our lifetime will barely, quote unquote, leave our backyard, meaning civilization. As we go out into the woods, we're probably not going to get more in a day, maybe 2 from our vehicle, if that. Most of us, when we go camp, we'll find a campsite along the river or along the lake somewhere, maybe hike in the day from your car and set up camp that night. That's what most people at the most do. To be honest, most people just camp in campgrounds. And those are as far from the deep woods as you can possibly get. They're just on the edge. So without you actually experiencing, like going someplace like the Nahanni Valley or upper Saskatchewan, you couldn't understand. We can't understand just how primordial those woods are. Entire aircraft have gone missing, and no trace has ever been found. There was I think it was a DC-10 with a senator and his entire staff on it, leaving Alaska. This was back in the 40s or 50s, and it radioed it was having engine trouble, and it went down somewhere either in Alaska or British Columbia. And to this day, they still have not found that plane, and they knew the route it was taking. So that's how thick and vast those woods are. So next time you find yourself out in the lonely woods, out someplace where you hear a scream. If you hear a scream in the distance that you don't know what it is, ask yourself. Then that's the time to ask yourself: is the Wendigo real, and could it be hunting me? And as the screaming gets closer and closer, and that fear begins to build up in the back of your mind, the hair starts to stand on end. Then you can tell me whether or not you believe in Wendigo.
I think there's another question you need to be asking yourself at that point, right, Doc? What time is it?
Time to go.
1:30. Get the hell out of here.
It's time to get to the truck because Doc's already fired the engine up.
I started blasting, so yeah.
Hey, Wyatt.
Holy smokes. Yeah, yeah. I will have already fired the engine up, and we will be ready to extricate ourselves from the situation most expeditiously.
Unass the AO.
As he said. Wow. Yeah, those things are scary, man. And the thing is, I mean, they've even had sightings. They've had sightings near and far. They had a sighting, I want to say 5-6 years ago, up around Pikes Peak of one.
And the Girl Scout camp north of you.
Well, not only that, okay, that's the second one. The Girl Scout camp north of me, and also the hiker camper dude that was wanting us to live on Pikes Peak for whatever freaking reason for 4 or 5 months. His buddy went to pick him up, and his buddy's like, when he went to pick him up, dusk was setting when he got to him, and they were getting paralleled. They were getting paced by something. And he saw something that it had huge antlers. It was pale. It was skeletal, and they just kept trucking until they got to a very populated car lot, and were able to get the heck out of Dodge. But I mean, that's like 40 miles from me, man. So,
Luca T. Jacob says, "Are you safe if you don't go in the deep woods?" Quick answer to that is no.
No.
There have been sightings close to towns. There have been sightings, in like national parks. There was a sighting in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, where it was allegedly chasing hikers.
Yeah.
So just because you're in town does not mean you're safe.
Yeah.
If you live in an area where there's Wendigo activity, yeah, they're not afraid to go anywhere.
No. It's actually kind of terrifying. And I read the account on this dude, and he was very adamant about it. And he's like, I know what I saw, and my buddy who I picked up saw it too. We weren't hallucinating. So, I mean, that's right here in El Paso County, man.
And that's just right there near Doc.
Yeah.
Allegedly, there was a Wendigo sighting here in Missouri a few years back, but I have not been able to track down the source of it. And trying, I've got a couple people who know somebody who knows somebody, if you know what I mean. And I'm trying to get somebody to get me a number so I can go talk to folks. Luca, you're probably safe because it's a northern Native American event, kind of like a skinwalker. It is something told about North American Native American tribes. I don't think you're going to have to worry about it down in Australia, but stranger things have happened. One of the most historically documented cases of a Wendigo was a case that happened in 1878 in Alberta, Canada. It's known as the Swift Runner case. So what happened was this guy named Swift Runner, Native American, First Nations. He was a Cree trapper, the Cree tribe. He was a Cree trapper and also a former Northwest Mounted Police member. He was a respected member of the Mounted Police. So it's not like this guy was just some crackpot that lived out in the woods. He was a known wilderness tracker and had been a mounted policeman. He took his wife, 6 children, mother, and brother into the forest for winter hunting. And when spring came back, he was the only one that came back. He said his family starved to death, but he appeared well fed. In fact, a little bit overweight when he came back in. And his winter camp was only a couple miles from a fort. So his story started having holes in it from right from the beginning. When the authorities went to check on his hunting cabin, they found evidence of cannibalism right off the bat. The whole family had been butchered. There were teeth marks on the bones. He finally confessed and said that he had done it, that he'd eaten his family, but he claimed he was possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo. They had a trial. This is all documented. There are a number of books on the subject, lots of YouTube videos on it. But at the end of the day, he was found guilty in 1879, and he was put to death for it. This still remains one of the most well documented, quote unquote, real Wendigo cases. So was he possessed by the Wendigo spirit? Was it a case of Wendigo psychosis? That's for y'all to decide. I'm just telling you guys the story. Boys, what do you think?
I mean, that sounds a lot like the case I had heard about, and they weren't emaciated or anything like that. But can we say, is it if they invoke the Wendigo, or were they just freaking nuts? I mean, can we say Alfred Packer or Richard Donner, those dudes who ate their hunting parties because of is it, I don't know, is it taking full accountability, or is it something where they were actually possessed by something?
I'm gonna go into a theory on the Donner Party here in a little bit.
Okay.
I've got some fresh information for you boys, and I want to kind of hold off and surprise it on you because I want to go for your actual gut reaction on this. So we'll circle back to the Donner Party here in just a bit. Robin Grogan says, I have a question. I'm going camping in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Would I be able to get back to my car with a 12-gauge shotgun? Well, number one, it's not the dead of winter. Yeah, you're probably not going to see one unless it's extremely cold. And two, unless you're camping someplace that cannibalism's been a problem in the past, you probably aren't going to see one. These things, it's not like they appear everywhere. I'm not saying every time you go behind a tree you're going to run into a Wendigo. I'm just saying the possibility of these things existing is very high. I mean, if it's high enough that psychologists have named a true psychopathy after it, Wendigo psychosis. Mm-hmm. So, and we all know that a lot of those psychopathies that they've written about in textbooks are just attempts to explain behavior we don't understand. So could it be a psychopathy? Maybe. Could it actually be the spirit of a Wendigo they're trying to explain? Again, maybe. But as far as I can tell, it is not close enough to winter for you to really worry about it. If you did hear one, especially if you hear something calling your name from the woods, if it's a voice of someone you recognize calling your woods, or your own voice, don't answer it. Build the fire up, stay close to the fire. First light, get the hell out of there. But odds are really good you're not going to hear anything like that because weather's too warm. Unless you're going camping in like northern Alaska or Canada, you're probably going to be all right. What do you got, boys? Got anything to add to that?
No, I think of Robbie.
Wendigo bad.
Fire bad.
That's funny as all get out. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Sightings go back even farther than that, documented by European settlers. Of course, in Native American lore, it goes back hundreds, if not thousands of years. But in 1661, Jesuit missionaries in Canada documented Wendigo psychosis or Wendigo events. Early French missionary records among the Cree, again, the Cree tribe. The accounts describe men afflicted by a mysterious condition that made them crave human flesh. The Wendigo was invoked to explain their madness. The quote was, "Those poor men were seized with an ailment unknown to us, which makes them so ravenous for human flesh. They were slain in order to stay the course of their madness."
Wow. That's kind of scary.
Pagan says, or if you go camping with Doc, then be worried.
Yeah, true. I just texted him. I was like, "Yeah, true." Yeah, I mean, these dudes. If this goes back to 1661, you said.
Yeah, 1661 was when it was documented by Jesuit missionaries.
And they were up north, were they not?
Yeah, well, the Cree were a northern tribe. They were up near what's currently the U.S.-Canadian border and up into Canada.
So, would you think this might be? And I'm not trying to throw a wrench in the works. I'm just thinking. Would you think this might be a seasonal affliction, a seasonal possession, something like that? Because it seems to happen during wintertime when food supplies are scarce and people become desperate, and they may be, quote unquote, willing to do anything, it
does seem to be most prevalent during the extreme cold when food is scarce. That does seem to be the most common element, but it's also said among the northern tribes that it can be brought on by greed.
Okay.
Because it's not just about hunger; it's about greed. Like if you were taking too much game from the land, you can be afflicted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. I hear that. Okay. And Long Queen has a good point. She said some criminally insane are considered demon/devil possessed. So why not have an evil spirit causing Wendigos to appear? Ooh.
I think if there's an explanation for the Wendigo, I think it's basically a dark entity, an evil nature spirit.
I do too.
And as such, I don't think we can truly kill one. I think we can put a physical embodiment down, especially with fire or silver. But there's like multiple versions of the story on how to actually quote unquote kill one. But I don't think you can permanently kill one. I think you can end its rampage at that time, but the spirit will return.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of like killing somebody that's possessed by a demon. You might stop them, but that demon's coming back.
Yeah, it's gonna find another form to get into.
Right. Larry Berlin had a question for you, Doc. He said, "Doc, have you ever used a Salish pressure wrap to control bleeding?"
Oh, the Sam Slishman. Yeah, he's a surgeon. Yeah, he did a traction splint, a freaking femoral traction splint that I used. I think it's actually pretty nice. I have not used the pressure wrap. I know who's got one, and I am curious to see what it does. So, and I'll probably order one for myself. So I have not used one to see what it does. So no, it's fairly new from what I have read.
Robbie, what are your thoughts on it, brother?
I tend to agree with you, but I think I don't necessarily think maybe nature's, but I think it's demonic. Because you think, 7 deadly sins, sloth, greed, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, I think it's something demonic brought on by, because if you do something like that, think about what we've talked about with skinwalkers. What's something that they have to do that's so horrible that goes down that black, rabbit hole, basically. I think this is along the same lines. I'm not saying that a skinwalker and a Wendigo are the same thing, but what you have to do for that to happen, I think it's an evil demonic spirit.
Well, I mean, kind of like a skinwalker is a shaman who's been corrupted by evil spirits, right? Because they went over the dark side. And so if someone takes on that possession, whatever it is, in order to survive, and consumes flesh, human flesh. I mean, that's I don't think you can't be normal and do that. You know.
Nope.
So,
Well, I mean, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean,
yeah.
Look when they opened his refrigerator, if that's not somebody who was trying to do something like that, I don't know what is.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Well, even in the last like 50 or 60 years, there's still been dozens of cases of quote unquote Wendigo psychosis diagnosed by doctors, predominantly in northern villages up in Canada where they're extremely remote, even though there was a steady supply of food. They were diagnosed, as craving human flesh, despite the fact that food was still plentiful. Symptoms include social withdrawal, violent dreams, and compulsive hunger. A lot of times these guys are treated, like in case of the guy on the Trans-Canadian Highway. He was riding a bus, and just out of the blue, this guy kills the guy sitting across the aisle from him. And of course, they stop the bus and people evacuate. But by the time the police got there, not only had this guy already eaten part of the dude that he killed, he had strips of his flesh in his pockets.
Yeah, did he decapitate that dude too?
I think he did. The dude was definitely dead. Well, that old boy was tried and convicted, but his defense was Wendigo psychosis. They put him in a mental institution, and he got out in 2016.
Holy crap!
Yeah, he's out. And here's the funny thing. He wasn't natural born Canadian. He was actually born, I believe it was in Sri Lanka. He was Asian.
Huh.
But his statement was when he was arrested that he didn't know. He didn't know what happened. He just snapped. And a lot of those cases in those northern villages, they try treating it with the old ways first, and when that doesn't work, Western medicine gets involved. But it would not surprise me in some of those more remote villages where they don't get a lot of contact if they're not still handling it in the old ways. They think somebody's a Wendigo. They try to try the blessing. If that doesn't work, they put them to the stake.
Wow.
And the Swift Runner case still haunts the Northern Cree. I mean, it is something that's still part of their cultural makeup. The Cree elders still talk about Wendigo possession, especially during harsh winters. And if they see people that are having violent behavior, obsessive hunger, or withdrawals, they will isolate them and keep them under guard to see if they're going to turn. So it's the legacy of Swift Runner still hunts the modern Cree today.
That's terrifying, dude. Holy crap. Wow.
Over the last 100 years or so, there have been dozens of unexplained people go missing while hiking along the U.S.-Canadian border on some of those back trails. Hikers and hunters both. A lot of have vanished in Ontario, Minnesota, and Upper Michigan under very strange conditions. And these aren't covered under the Missing 411 because they didn't happen in national parks. They happened in the deep woods. And the same thing happens in every one of the cases. They found abandoned gear. They found no signs of a struggle and reports of screaming in the woods.
Well, but that's the thing you got to think about. If this is something like we're talking about a demon or a dark spirit, it's not going to be something that wants to not be found and stays in these national parks to stay away from people and
it's going to actively hunt.
Yeah, it's actively hunting. So
right.
That stands to reason that it's just could happen anywhere.
And if it's happening to hunters up there, what season is hunting in up there?
Cold months.
Yeah.
Well, this one we got Ryan Paul Tremblay in the audience tonight, and I would love to hear him chime in on this. What people refer to as pale crawlers. I personally think that it's just a misidentified Wendigo. I think it is a type of Wendigo because the stories where people see Wendigo with the big deer antlers, I actually mentioned this in both of my books that was wearing a skull like a mask. the most of the actual physical descriptions of Wendigo from the northern tribes talk about it being pale skinned, gaunt, usually missing the flesh around its lips where it's chewed them off, missing flesh off of its fingers where it's chewed it off, deep set eyes, sometimes glowing eyes. They just describe them as a very, very gaunt human, and with an insatiable hunger. So, the story about seeing them with big antlers. Again, like I said, in my books, I think that is them actually wearing a mask to further conceal what they are. But I personally think that the pale crawler is one of them. Ryan, what do you think? If you're still in there, looking back to see if he'd already said something. Dr. 45 says, could it be pharmacological? That's a good question for Doc.
I mean, pharmacological would mean there'd be some sort of substance involved. Could it be something they have consumed? Possibly, this causes psychosis. Absolutely. But the areas we're talking about are typically very isolated. So I wouldn't think it would be anything like, Bayer, produces or anything like that. But it could be something pharmacological, as in the form of a psilocybin or something like that, to cause this kind of psychosis. Some sort of something that's available in nature. Yeah, why not, man? Because
Robin Ray wants to know if it could be some sort of prion disease like CWD.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, it could be. Could it be something hallucinogenic in nature causing these people to have these episodes? Could it be a prion disease? Yeah, could it be another, what we could say, the not deer, type of thing? I don't know.
Thank you, Ryan. I kind of thought you'd be on the same page with me on that.
Instead of a not deer, it's a not person.
Yeah. But the thing is chronic wasting disease had never been heard of before 1967.
Correct.
Doesn't mean it didn't exist in some form or another, but allegedly chronic wasting disease, as we know it, was released accidentally by Canadian Fish and Game. Not Canadian, by Colorado Fish and Game, when they deliberately infected deer with that prion disease to study it, and they escaped.
They escaped.
Yeah, that's right.
Escape.
N4 UPD says, I need to do a drug test on those people that have those symptoms. The trick is finding it. And if it was a prion disease, they don't get better. They generally die. Yep. And the case of the Wendigo psychosis for the guy that was on the bus in Canada, like I said, he was treated in a mental institution and released. So if it was a prion disease, he would have died.
Mm-hmm.
Horribly, actually.
That's scary.
But that is if he really had it and he wasn't just.
Right.
Northwoods, it's on my phone. I don't have it on my computer. It'd take me a minute to find it.
I'll be right back, guys. Pardon me.
All right.
Marijuana regarding excessive appetite. Sorry, I just saw that. Yeah. Other people, measurements, I've eaten loads of psilocybin, never wanted to eat human flesh. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm just throwing possibilities out there. I'm just throwing different stuff out there. Marijuana. No, I mean, I wouldn't think that either. So, yeah, just a theory. Just a theory.
Mr. Anderson says, ever compare Wendigo to Skinwalker? They're not the same thing. Not even close. Skinwalkers generally confined to the Navajo reservation, and they're someone that went as dark as you can get. They chose to become that. I don't think anybody chooses to become a Wendigo. And once a person becomes a Skinwalker, they can control their shapes. They can turn into different things. And in fact, according from my buddy Wes, who's Navajo, he said they can take on the form of anything from bugs to other people. So that is completely unlike the Wendigo, who once they change, they're stuck.
Yeah, they may make the choice of the things that they do that ends up taking them down that route, but I don't think they intentionally start doing that stuff to turn into that.
And the Skinwalker, they in that case, they're in possession of their faculties. They're very intelligent. They're deadly intelligent. The Wendigo becomes basically just a force of nature, unending hunger,
which
that dark predator.
That's why I lean towards it. It could be demonic possession, because
And that does make a certain amount of sense. Like I said, I was leaning toward dark nature spirit, but then again, when you really, if you're not just splitting hairs on terminology, what would a dark nature spirit be?
Yeah, I mean,
Basically a nature demon.
yeah.
They talk about these things being the ultimate hunter with supernatural speed and hearing, able to silently stalk prey, walk through the woods without making a sound. They imitate human voices to try to lure their prey. Sometimes the voice of a loved one, sometimes your own voice. And here's the really scary one. Sometimes the sound of a weeping woman or a crying child, which most of us guys who consider ourselves something of a protector, like guys like me and Robbie and Doc, who was in the military, guys like me and Robbie spend our lives in law enforcement. We're going to go look for that. We're going to go try to help. And when it draws you away from the fire, and it is more than capable of entering your home without your invitation. The only inviting in, that's kind of a vampire lore thing. Wendigos don't need an invitation. They will kick your door in, killing everybody in the cabin, and then convert the cabin into a den, so it can stay there. Doc, anything throw in on that?
I didn't. I just caught the back end of it, man. I'm sorry.
Sentinel's in the house.
What's that?
Sentinel's in the house.
What's up, Sentinel? Good to see you, brother. One Wendigo, what they believe was a Wendigo, was a man in the New Jersey Pine Barrens who claimed that while he was out hiking and camping in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, that for 3 nights in a row, a skeletal creature that mimicked his brother's voice would circle his camp at night and followed him until he finally got out of the woods.
Huh.
There were some campers in Montana who kept hearing human cries for help. Only when they went looking, they never found anything. But they went as a group. They didn't go out there. They didn't get lured away from their fire one at a time. They went armed and they went as a group and never found anything. But they, for multiple nights, heard the sounds of people screaming for help. And when they went that direction, nothing was ever found. And then there was a hunter. Now this one should get Doc. This one was near Colorado Springs, Colorado. A hunter who claimed he saw a pale, emaciated figure watching him from the tree line and then vanish without a sound.
Yeah.
That's just up the road from you.
Yeah, I mean that's in the same county, man, that the Pikes Peak one happened on. So that's kind of scary.
It's very scary.
It is, man.
What happened to your chickens?
Yeah, that or a freaking coon, but yeah, that's I mean, how many people have been hunting and have seen something weird?
I've seen crap hunting.
Lots. So, who's to say? While we're hunting whatever, it's hunting us.
Ooh, Ryan's got a good question, Da.
What's that?
Put a question, all three of us.
Let me see it.
You see it?
No, I haven't found it yet.
It said, for all three of us, big question. Is there, and it's a moral question, get out of the way, to slaying a Wendigo. It was once a human. You could free said person. So should we try to destroy it or not?
That is a good moral question. I would say that you would be doing the person a favor to release them from that state.
Well, here's the question. The question back to you because of that, Ryan. Though, is there a way to release that person and bring that person back to their normal?
If that case in Canada on the highway is to be believed, he was cured of Wendigo psychosis. But if it is
Wendigo psychosis, is that truly being a Wendigo though, or is that just somebody claiming, "Hey, I'm crazy, I'm a Wendigo, and I don't believe it," in pleading, just like pleading insanity is? How many people have we heard or killed multiple people and said, "I was temporarily insane," and we know that they're just BSing. So is this because these high-powered psychiatrists to get their names out there will make up stuff just to get somebody off, to get their name in print. So, and I'm not saying that Wendigo psychosis is a made-up thing. I'm just saying it's a possibility that's just something that they latched onto because of the situation. Oh, he was eating somebody? Wendigo psychosis. I'm just saying that's a possibility. So my question is, Ryan, if somebody is truly a Wendigo, not somebody who's sketched out on a bus and doing that, somebody's truly a Wendigo, is there a way to release that person and bring them back, or are they completely done and off the deep end, can't bring them back? Because if the question is or the answer to that question is no, they're gone, then I agree with DA. If there's a chance you could bring them back, then maybe you should try everything you can to do that.
Yeah.
Just my change for the dollar words.
I think the only moral question when it comes to something like that is it required for you to save your own life or the life of somebody you're with? At that point, it becomes the same moral question I faced as a cop. Am I willing to put my own ass on the line to protect the lives of someone else? Even if it means ending the life of somebody else, then ultimately, yes, I will do everything I can to save somebody's life, up to and including lethal force on the target. Will I feel good about myself afterwards? No, I will not. But it's one of those things, you get away one life against an evil force, essentially. And if somebody that's something that's trying to kill everybody in your group, that qualifies as something you've got to put down to protect life.
Right? And here's the thing: they may not have been trying to turn themselves into a Wendigo, like we talked about. A shaman is doing is trying to turn himself into a skinwalker, but they still had to do something like be really greedy or eat human flesh. So it's not like we're talking about. Somebody was just, a good Samaritan walking down the road, whistling, and minding his own business and doing good. And all of a sudden, bam, he's a Wendigo. We're talking about somebody who's done something despicable. And this is, I don't want to say it's a punishment, but, it could be some type of form of punishment. Who knows? Or, if it is a demonic thing, that's a weak person that, look, it's already done this. That's somebody that I can control. So, it's not like you're not talking about them, and I'm not saying that because they're not a moral person that gives you the right to just off them just like that. I'm just saying it's not somebody that has redeeming qualities to start with.
And I personally, just from my own moral standpoint, unless you're like that soccer team that was trapped in the Andes where they had to survive, they ate fallen other members who died in a crash. Unless it's a situation like that, I think cannibalism is one of those immortal sins. Links right up there with hurting children and committing killing a loved one or something like that. I think it's one of those dark taint sins that really I don't think there's much coming back from it. Now without getting into theology, I don't want to discuss Christian versus Native American. I don't want to get into any of that, but I just say that if you've done that, you're a pretty dark person. You're probably not coming back from it anyway.
I don't think there's any kind of difference in how Native Americans look at that versus Christians look at that. I think that any decent person is going to look at that the same way, whether they're
as an evil act.
Yeah, whether they're
And Kevin, I have not seen any official position from the Canadian government. I have not seen any official policy dealing with Wendigo type creatures. I'm sure something like that probably exists somewhere in the depths, but it's not something they publicly discuss. Robbie Richie says, "Alive was that book. I still have that nightmares from that book." Yeah, that was a pretty dark book.
That was the movie too. Alive. They made a movie. I think Ethan Hawke was in the movie. Now there's been a lot of people talking about Ravenous in the chat too. That was a good movie. That was a Wendigo based movie.
What about what was that movie you just watched?
Well, the one he just watched.
I thought Antlers was okay. I didn't think it was very
it was
good,
all right.
but it was okay. More
Antlers,
for kids, really.
no, that's just one of those over the top. It's a big monster movies, all that, because obviously that's not what a true Wendigo is. I mean, it was.
Yeah. Well, see, in this one, the Black Woods, they've got a Lakota guide, and they're talking about the Natalushi. I don't know if I pronounced that right or not, but their spirit, but it's talking basically what they're saying is a Wendigo, but I don't know what I saw Ryan had mentioned something about that earlier, and I was like, oh, that's funny because they mentioned that in that movie.
The Natalushi is the Navajo name for a skinwalker.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Dr. 45. Appreciate it, brother.
I'm sitting there wondering if they're getting their lore kind of crossed.
Well, it is Hollywood. They're gonna.
Hollywood.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Almost had it right. Hey, man.
Oh, you guys are gonna get a kick out of this one. This is one of those playing with a Ouija board kind of stories. This supposedly happened somewhere in Canada, and I've yet to be able to track the story itself down. I read the initial report of it, but I haven't been able to chase it down to find out how much truth is behind it, that sort of thing. So take this with a grain of salt, but it's an interesting story. Allegedly, somewhere in Alberta, a group of paranormal researchers went out into the woods and called upon the Wendigo spirit. And this was in the dead of winter. And out of the 6 of them, 3 of them made it back out of the woods.
Well, that was dumb.
Yeah, I agree. It's like going out there and ringing a dinner bell.
Doc, what's that saying about playing stupid games?
You win.
Again, I don't know how much truth is behind that story, but I read it and thought, well, that's at least worth mentioning. But
I mean,
I definitely wouldn't go out there and ring the damn dinner bell.
That's like strapping a ham to your butt and running through a bunch of starving folks. You know what I mean? Hey, here I am. I have bacon grease and olive oil and some red pepper. Here you go. Here's some seasoning.
I'm slathered in bacon.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Yeah, literally.
Look at the triangle.
Like DA said. Freaking Reese. I don't know. That's just
This supposedly somewhere in Wisconsin. Now I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of this name because it's a Native American name, and I'm gonna butcher it. But it's Kawagoni or something like that. Kawagoni Lake reported saying he claimed that their cousin went camping there and disappeared near that lake after he'd been telling his family he'd been having strange dreams and seen a pale figure following him in the woods.
Well, I mean, how about not let's go in the woods if you got dreams about that kind of crap?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's like the old guy that goes to the doctor and says, "Hey, doc, it hurts when I go like this." What did the doctor tell him?
Don't
go like this.
There's another one from the north woods of Wisconsin, and this one's going to hit close to home for old Doc because this is very much like the story and cry of the Wendigo. Some folks went ice fishing in northern Wisconsin, up near the Canadian border on one of the lakes up there. We're staying in a cabin, and they had a little ice fishing cabin that they would go fish in and go back to the cabin. It was just a short distance from the lake. When these guys didn't come back after the week they were supposed to be up there, they sent people up looking for them. All of their equipment was smashed and scattered all around the cabin. The door had been kicked in. There were claw marks on the walls, and no trace of the fisherman was ever found.
And the snowmobile had been violated.
Well, whatever it was tore up all the equipment too. They said it was bears, but the guys that brought up tracking dogs to look for said bear said, no, the dogs wouldn't track, and 2, they're like, this is no bear attack. These are not this.
That seems to be the catch-all excuse. It was bears.
Bear.
It was a bear attack. I mean, come on.
Well, the article I read said the cabin was one of those A-frames for the to keep the snowfall off because they get a lot of snow up there. It's one of the A-frames, and there was living quarters down below with a kitchen and a big living area, and all the bunks were up on scaffolds up on the top because that's where the heat goes. But you know exactly what I'm talking about, Doc. There were claw marks up there.
Yeah. Because okay, you know how you get up to that on an A-frame? Not stairs, a ladder.
Bears aren't big on ladders. Last I checked.
I mean, they can do them, but they're not big on them. But I mean, holy.
No, that would be the problem. They
Mrs.
are
Moon
big
says
on
it was
them.
either bears or lightning.
Or lightning bears.
Lightning bears. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, and Northwoods brings up an excellent freaking point. A bear attack in the middle of winter? Yeah, right.
Yeah, bears. You get that close to the Canadian border, bears hibernate.
They are sleeping.
Same area. Around that area where the cabin disappeared, people that lived in that area reported hearing unidentifiable screams in the woods for weeks before and after that happened.
Huh.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah. I'm going to check the old pocket watch, and we're going to be getting the heck out of Dodge.
You're like, get in the car, Jed. We going.
Yeah. Jed.
Yeah. Snowmobile or not, we're getting out of here.
Yeah, exactly. We're leaving one way or the other, son.
There was a guy. He was Ojibwe Cree. He was known. Said he was an Ojibwe Cree shaman. His name was Jack Fiddler, and I'm sure Ryan's probably familiar with this story. This was in 1907 in Ontario, Canada. He claimed he was a Wendigo hunter. That's what he did. He and his brother were arrested for killing a woman who everyone said was transforming into a Wendigo. They put her down. In their community, killing someone in the early stages of Wendigo transformation is considered a protective act. However, after they were arrested, Jack committed suicide while in custody, and his brother died in prison before he received an official pardon.
So, by tribal law, if they killed somebody while they were in the early stages of Wendigo,
the tribe believed it was an act of protection, but the Canadian law felt differently about it.
I'm pretty sure the RCMP felt a little bit differently about that. That's interesting, huh?
And this one happened in 1936 in Manitoba. This one was actually reported by an anthropologist by the name of Irving Hollowell. Hollowell said a young man, after prolonged isolation, began experiencing delusions and cravings for human flesh. His father killed him to prevent the Wendigo spirit from spreading. The anthropologist said that this was just a tragic case that illustrates just how deeply the Wendigo belief is ingrained in the survival ethics and the community protection standards of these northern tribes.
That's interesting. Yeah, and it seems to be very prevalent in the northern tribes. Now, Richie Evans has something that's funny to say. Not funny, but interesting. Not all true about bears sleeping through the winter, because some are known for winter bears that comes out of its den and hunts.
Polar bears don't hibernate. They can't.
That's not the typical.
They hibernate constantly.
That's just sometimes if they don't get what they need before hibernation, then they will wake up early. But,
Right. And just a guy who says back then RCMP was notorious for treating the First Nations bad. That is true.
Here in the United States, we ain't exactly got a good track record for it either.
Absolutely. Very, very dismissive. They were very dismissive on things, because anything that was tribal in nature, they tried to dismiss it and just say, hey, we're using this law or regulation and not taking into account the hundreds of years of history. Or more.
This is from this year. This year. A guy by the name of Liam Harper. Liam described seeing a pale skeletal figure in the woods that mimicked human voices and moved without sound. Hundreds of people shared similar experiences after he came forward, hearing whispers in the woods, claw marks on cabins, and eerie mimicry. And apparently, this was from the North Woods, I believe, of Minnesota. It said it completely just ignited a whole rash of people coming forward. Like, I've got weird things coming around my house at night. I found footprints on the roof of my cabin. Something's out here. And they ended up sending authorities out there, but nothing was ever found.
Okay, so what else that we think about, we talk about in the cryptid world, mimics? Especially down in the Four Corners area, not far from me.
What, skinwalkers?
It's the S word. Yeah, we don't say the S word around here. Yeah, isn't that weird?
There are interesting crossovers, similarities to other creatures. Well, especially if you look at Native American lore for, say, Bigfoot. These are, you know, like, for example, you get like the southwestern tribes like Apache or the Navajo, and compare those to stories from like the Algonquin tribes that did not interact, describe a similar creature. I mean, you know, they describe even the same behaviors among these creatures.
Yeah, I think that's ironic. But also, what are these two creatures have in common?
Go across continents and across oceans to tribes and civilizations who had zero dealings with our First Nations tribes, and they've got the same stuff. I mean,
just like pyramids in different regions of the world, you know, I mean, that kind of stuff happens. But what is one of the big things that we see in common with these creatures? It's a spiritual thing. They have taken on some sort of possession of some sort of evil spirit.
Here's another good one for you, boys. This happened in 2019. This guy, I'll just give his last name. It was Bradley. He was a former Marine. And him and his cousin named his friend named Jacob, they decided to go camping together. And this was at the Alabama state line in 2019. And near the Alabama border. It doesn't say what it was close to. But it says him and his friend were joking while they were camping, and they were daring each other to call on the Wendigo spirit. After they did it 3 times, they did it just laughing. Probably alcohol involved. If I know, you know, old veterans. You know, Robbie, Doc will back me up on that. If there were veterans, there's probably alcohol involved. They started hearing noises in the distance that were getting closer. Coyotes that they'd been hearing around their campsite, that had been hearing all night, suddenly hightailed it out of the area. They got the hell out.
That's not a good sign at all.
In the woods around them, something started, I'm not saying shaking, knocking over trees. Let me say that again. Knocking over trees. Not shaking, pushing them over. And then a voice that sounded exactly like Jacob's younger sister called out from the woods, asking him to come to her.
Dude.
Jacob started to go. But Bradley grabbed him like, dude, that ain't your sister. She didn't come along. He's like, that's got to be her. She probably came looking for me. He's like, no, that is not her. Do not go out there. So he finally, once he basically got the guy to sober up enough to realize his sister could no way be in the woods out there, more trees started breaking and crashing nearby, and they thought,
save the treasure.
They took off. They left their shit and they ran for where they had parked their truck. With Brad, the ex-Marine Bradley, drawing his gun and firing into the woods as they ran.
Okay.
A Marine who had seen combat was firing into the woods as they unasked the AO.
Recon by fire, baby. We're going to be doing an Australian deal. And
danger close.
Getting the heck out of the AO. Holy crap. That's insane.
And that was in Alabama.
Greenbow, Alabama. No, that was Alabama. That's crazy.
Hillary, Jacob was a dumbass. Don't be like Jacob.
That's right.
Don't be Jacob. Ever.
I don't care whose voice it is. If you hear you're in the deep woods and you hear somebody calling your name from the dark in the deep woods, don't go see who it is.
No. we're asking you this, please, because this is an entertainment purposes only show, but don't put yourself at any undue harm. Please.
Leave that to the professionals, because we do that all the time, or at least I do. Doc has to yell, "Get in the car!"
You're just
Yeah, we ain't the brightest bulbs in the pack. Speaking of not the brightest bulbs in the pack, guess who's going to Joe Ball's tomorrow?
you.
York.
Guess who would be going to Joe Ball? Who else would be going if they were down there?
I would love for you boys to be here, but trust me, I ain't going alone, and I ain't going unarmed.
Good.
I'm going to be taking Sans Whisper Pickle because it's still on layaway. I'm going to be taking a certain little doodad that was made for me by the good folks over at Sigwo Arms.
Pew, 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 pew.
That's right, cordless hole puncher with
So-
numerous freedom seeds.
So professionals can be dumbasses.
Yes, little Patty,
I am
we're
right.
professional dumbasses.
I think that's one of the prerequisites, little Patty.
Yeah, I think so. Digging and scratching, subscribe to the channel. Awesome. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Here's another good one for you. This one's known as the Cold Hollow Incident. This happened in Vermont in 2003. A remote cabin in the Cold Hollow Mountains of northern Vermont. The witness, who was a solo camper who only goes by the name Eli, he would not give his full or real name, was a admitted survivalist. He liked to go up in the woods and live by himself for extended periods of time. He was staying in a very remote cabin, off the grid cabin, no water, no running water, no electricity, nothing like that. Just a remote, deep woods cabin. For multiple nights, he documented hearing footsteps circling his cabin for 3 nights, just after midnight each time. On the 4th night, he heard his own voice calling from the woods outside the cabin saying, "Help me, I'm hurt."
Nope.
He stayed inside, would not go outside. Smart move. But in the morning when the sun came up, he found deep claw marks gouged into the front door of the cabin. He went to a local tribe called the Abenaki. They told him that he'd camped near a Wendigo warning site, and that he should not go back there. And when he did go back, the cabin had been ransacked, like door kicked in, destroyed.
All right. Good to know. Yeah.
I can hear us standing out there, and he's saying, "Hey, Doc, did you hear that? I just called me. Called me back into the woods. Let me go check it out."
I just called myself.
I guarantee if I heard that, I'm going to be like, "Holy shit, that's me! I got to go save myself." No, I'm not.
Yeah. Saw. Yeah. Be like,
Like, if you're me, what am I wearing?
yeah.
Miss Lene is correct. This channel is for entertainment purposes only.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Do not attempt to duplicate the stupid stuff we do.
Good Lord. Especially what some other people do. I mean, because here's the thing, man. He was there for multiple nights, right?
Mhm.
After one night of hearing footsteps and seeing claw marks and things like that, I think I'd have been like, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to not be wanted here. So I think I will see myself out.
Mr. Ballin, the guy that has the channel, Mr. Ballin, that guy's a former Navy SEAL, and he talked about his first experience when he was a kid, staying in the north woods of Maine. His family had a cabin up there, and when he was a kid, he kept telling his parents, he was like 7 or 8 years old, if I remember the story correctly. He kept telling his parents, "There's somebody looking at me from outside my window," and they're like, "You're on the 2nd floor. There's nothing out there." But he would not look at that window, and finally covered the window, but he still felt like something was trying to look at him.
Nothing's here. I can't see you. Nothing's here. I can't see you.
It gets worse. They heard something walking on the roof, and when they came out the next day, there were footprints leading over the roof of the cabin, then back out into the woods.
Nope.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. The last night they were there, he woke up to it standing at the foot of his bed. It had gotten into the cabin.
Nope.
And when he screamed, it took off.
So anyway,
I started blasting.
I'm under my magic cover. You can't see me.
You can't see me. You can't see me,
I'm
bro.
not tasty.
Holy crap, man!
He claimed it was a Wendigo that stood at the foot of his bed, and he
I
said
hope you like the poop
He-
flavors people snack.
he had his covers pulled up, and he thought it was one of his family members. He said because he heard the front door open, heard footsteps cross the living room and come up the steps, and he's like, surely that's my family. And when he lowered the covers, this thing was standing at the foot of his bed.
Angela Monroe has a good question. It's always interesting. There are claw marks. People leave, come back, and the door's kicked in. Why did it wait? Well, okay. Maybe
They obviously didn't get to report it if it did kick it in before they left.
or maybe the door was so secured they couldn't get in. And then when people left, obviously the door's not going to be.
Yeah, you don't have a deadbolt dropped in if you're not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be unsecured. So that's a great question. But yeah, man, I mean, seriously, after one night, if I hear, I'll be like, yeah, hey, Robbie, what time is it?
1:30. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, exactly. It's time to go.
Little Patty says, playing John Cena, you can't see me. In 1997, in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, a group near what they call Batstow Village, a group of teens were exploring abandoned trails. They claim they saw a pale skeletal figure watching them from a ridge, motionless, but visible for over an hour. It stood there and watched them. One teen claimed it whispered his name, though no one else heard it. When they returned the next day, they found a deer carcass arranged in a spiral pattern. Local lore says, though the Pine Barrens are more famous for the Jersey Devil, some of the Lenape descendants believe Wendigo spirits migrate during harsh winters.
So I think we're seeing a trend here with harsh winters and Wendigo. And it's supposed to be a bad winter here this year. So
yeah, we're supposed to have a bad winter all across basically the middle part of the United States.
Yeah, Angie and I just put up like 3 cords of wood the other day. So
I think I'm going to invest in myself some Dragon's Breath rounds for my shotgun.
Yeah.
At least a couple magazines worth.
Yeah.
1984 in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. This is known as the Snowdrift Disappearance. A hunter whose name was Raymond K. Full last name was not revealed. Was last seen entering the woods near a lake called Michigami. His tracks led into the forest but never came out. Searchers found his rifle and coat. The coat was neatly folded beside of a tree with no signs of a struggle. Locals reported hearing screams that weren't human during the search. Nearby Ojibwe community performed a cleansing ritual, citing a Wendigo was present in the area. Raymond was never found, and his disappearance remains unsolved.
That's
Frightening.
So that's up in the UP, the Upers up there. So yeah, I mean that's some hairy territory too. But again, what are we seeing? The commonality here is old, harsh environment.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Up in northern Wisconsin, there's an area known as the Madeline Islands. People go camping and fishing up there. But apparently, there have been disappearances going on up there for decades. Hunters go up, fishermen go up, they don't come back. The Madeline Islands are considered sacred to the Ojibwe people and have long been associated with Wendigos. Visitors report sudden chills, disorientation, and hearing voices that mimic loved ones. At least 24 disappearances have occurred near the island's forest trails with no signs of struggle.
So we've talked about this tonight a lot. It seems to be a very common lore among the Ojibwe tribe. Ironically enough, that's who Shania Twain belonged to. Just remember that from back in the day.
I've got a good friend who was Ojibwe.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if anybody here is in the chat has any Ojibwe connections, or if you're a Ojibwe yourself and would like to talk to us offline, and maybe we could talk about some of this, the lore of the Wendigo with the Ojibwe tribe, reach out to DA at daroberts.net and shoot him some contact info, because this could be a continual thing we could talk about. This is just more subject matter to explore this subject on in further episodes, and could help educate us better on what the tribal perspective is on this lore. On this,
I just posted my email contact in the chat. If you've got an encounter story, a theory, anything you'd like to share, go ahead and send it our way.
I mean, that'd be pretty interesting, because I'm seeing a big trend with the Ojibwe tribe and the stories with the Wendigo.
Well, the in that area, the Ojibwe elders warn people that the Wendigo spirits guard the island's deeper woods, especially during the winter.
Huh. Okay. So there's definitely some connection there. That's interesting.
This next one happened in Wyoming in 2020 or early 2021. It was the winter of 2021. In remote areas of the Shoshone and Arapaho territories, several individuals have reported dreams of being hunted or consumed. One man claimed he awoke with claw marks on his chest and an overwhelming craving for raw meat. Local medicine men performed cleansing rituals citing Wendigo possession. This was on the reservations in winter of 2020.
Yeah,
that's in Wyoming.
Woke up with scratches on his chest and craving raw meat.
And with local medicine people performing rituals citing a Wendigo possession.
Yep. Apparently, it's happened multiple times in that during that winter.
Holy crap, man! That's freaking crazy. Not as like crazy as in like, oh, you're insane, but crazy as like, holy crap, that's hard to freaking comprehend.
Apparently, this kind of thing was common enough that the Ojibwe and the Cree, even to this day, have what they call Wendigo hunters in their tribe. A person was appointed and taught how to hunt these things, appointed to protect the tribe during times of famine. These warriors / shaman were trained to detect early signs of transformation, and if someone showed symptoms of Wendigo possession, the hunter was authorized to kill them before the spirit fully took hold.
Holy shit snacks.
Supposedly still goes on. Don't know. I don't know anybody that was on the inside of the, and if it is still going on, I'm pretty sure tribe ain't going to discuss it with outsiders.
Wow, no, that's tribal business. Tribal business has no business outside the tribe.
Exactly,
and that's the way it should be. Wow.
Well, now that I've gone through all of the actual encounters, now I want to talk about that theory I mentioned earlier. And this is where I want to get Doc involved. Wish Steve was here, because I'd really like to get both y'all's medical expertise on this. But did you know, over the last 120 or so years, there have been more than a dozen Wendigo sightings from Donner Pass? So, did the Donner Party, did the Donner incident draw the Wendigo spirit there, or did the Wendigo spirit cause the Donner Party?
Right. No, that has a lot of merit, man, because if you think about it, they have actually talked about the Donner Party, as you and I were talking about, that the legend is sometimes tied to that cannibalism. Now, here's the thing, and this is something I want to talk about. I want to think about, because the Wendigo typically eats living, yes, right, and so it's because it's possessed. And somebody had mentioned this earlier. I can't remember who it was, so I'm not trying to discredit you, but had said, hey, Wendigo eats living. The people in the Andes were there for survival purposes, and they were just eating the frozen corpses.
Right.
So, but Do we know that they were all dead before the Donner Party ate them?
We do not. We
No,
only
we
have the
don't.
survivors' accounts.
Yeah, I was about to
And
say,
even
always-
after the incident,
Right.
survivors would barely discuss it.
Correct. So that's the thing about it. So was it, did they kill them and eat them? Who knows?
The question is, did that happen with the alpaca incident too?
Correct.
You know, one of the survivors of the Donner Party, after they were rescued, opened a restaurant in San Francisco, and it went under because nobody would eat there.
Well, they call the dining hall up at CU in Boulder, they call it the Alfred Packer Dining Facility. That's like their name.
But honestly, though, if you knew the story and you knew one of those survivors had opened a restaurant, would you go eat at it? I wouldn't.
I know, right?
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Dahmer's Diner open for business.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
You stab them, we serve them.
Ugh. Yeah, and Big
Yeah.
Edison has a good question. Desperation and hunger
Could have woken the Wendigo spirit.
Absolutely.
Well, some of those more those dozens of some of the specific sightings in the Donner Pass area. One hunter was saying he heard unidentifiable screams from the woods around his camp and got the hell out of there. Hikers that were hiking the trail reported something gaunt and pale pacing them in the woods that only broke away when they got close to the parking lot, the trailhead, and others were saying they heard strange voices begging for help in the woods.
Just like what happened in Colorado up on Pikes Peak when they were getting paced by that tall, gaunt figure.
Right.
Yep.
And instead of going for help, they called the park rangers. The park rangers were like, don't go. We'll send somebody. Yep, don't go.
I'm going to tell everybody in the chat, if a park ranger tells y'all, hey, yeah, don't go in there. Don't go in this area. We can't tell you why, or we can't tell you, whatever, for whatever reason. Just don't go in there. You know what? Maybe you shouldn't go.
Larry, yes, supposedly they have a lair where they will hang bodies, sometimes even taking them and hanging them alive to eat later. But they try to make a stockpile to survive the famine, the long winter.
That's nasty.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I really want to ask a question that goes along with my theory, and this is the gut punch, where I want to see your actual reactions. Okay. If the Donner Party and the alpaca incidents, let's just say, for example, they've invoked the Wendigo spirit. Let's say that incident was what caused Wendigos to be seen in that area. It's what drew it down. Is that what's going on in Moon Valley, and is that what surrounded us that night?
I knew he was going to do something like that. Why couldn't you just let it be Dogman and Bigfoot? Dang it.
Yeah, I know what I saw. It didn't look like that. But is it? That's a hotbed for activity. So does that mean
it was in January. It was about
right.
About colder than Satan's ass crack down there. It was frigid cold that night, and yeah, you saw them on thermal, but they were deliberately trying to cut me and Robbie off.
But there was other stuff going on too that we didn't see. So is it to say that it wasn't like a freaking free for all down there?
What the hell's going on in Moon Valley? Because
he just can't let it be Bigfoot and Dogman, Doc. He's got to bring the dang Wendigos into it.
When I was a kid, I used to camp in that valley. There was an active campground in that big open field right there past the bridge. I camped down there hundreds of times, dude. But after I quit camping there, after I met Annette and got married, I didn't go back to that until probably the late 90s when all three of my boys were born. It was probably somewhere around 1999 to 2000. I took the boys down there because I wanted to show where I used to camp. One of the places I always considered one of my favorite places to be.
Uh-huh.
When I got down there after the kids had born, the entire feeling of that valley had changed.
Huh.
I didn't feel safe there, and only time I've taken the boys back is when Noah was with us. I don't generally take the boys down there, and never at night. I wouldn't go down there at night without a group, armed group.
Something evil. Because I will say this: the feeling I got down there the night that we went down there, it was very oppressive.
Something dark is in that valley.
It's very dark, very oppressive, man. So, and Kevin Bodie, would it have shown up on thermal, bro? I don't know, man.
I know
the critters. What I saw about 60 yards back in the trees yonder way definitely showed up on thermal because they was about 7-8 feet tall. So, as they would say in Robbie's book, I didn't kin.
those two old boys that went to prison for cannibalism. After the cannibalism incident, the guys I've talked to off the record say that not only was that going on for decades before those two went to prison, it's still going on, and they didn't get everybody.
Ugh.
Well, I'm telling you,
Isn't it funny that after those two were arrested, before they could go back and search the house, it burnt to the ground. And you guys saw, so I took you guys to it. I'm not talking a little bit burnt to the ground. I mean ground level. There's nothing left.
There's other folks' houses who have been involved in stuff whose houses have burnt to the ground too.
And we got that
wrong turn car graveyard.
Yeah, the car graveyard up the road about a mile.
Yeah, which has cars from the 70s, folks. Just let y'all know.
On up to fairly recent.
I seen them with my beady brown eyes, as my daddy used to say.
Was you on the show, Doc, when he pulled up the Google map of it? And it's a whole lot bigger than we even thought it was.
Yes, I were.
And on both sides of the road. You just can't see the other section because it's behind the trees.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So that's my big question for you boys. Is that the dark feeling we got in Moon Valley?
I told you that place made me feel uneasy.
Yes, Moon Valley Expedition is the thermal. Don't lie.
Yes,
it is 100% that, and it definitely. I've had my paranormal experiences, plenty of them, but that one was a huge eye opener. It's literally a quarter mile from the dollhouse.
Yeah, even that.
Rodney, when you're down in Moon Valley, when you start up the road that leads out of the valley, you pass the dollhouse.
Yeah, I passed
it's on the side of the valley.
I passed it at about Mach 2.
No, you passed it at Mock Jesus.
Yeah. I
said, hey, Doc, the doll village is coming up on the right. He wouldn't even look. Nope. He just said, nope, put the hammer down.
I'm like, we gone. Yeah, I'm not even messing around with that mess. I don't know, DA. I mean, that is a very provoking thought. I mean, Robbie, do you think there's it could have been? Who knows, man?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I've been down there 3 times, DA? Mm-hmm. And I told you every time I'm down there, y'all know me. I ain't scared of Dogman. I ain't scared of Bigfoot. There's something down there that I do not. I said I will camp on Combs Ferry. I will camp out in Joe Bald.
Right.
I don't care. I'm not camping down there.
It's evil. Whatever is down there is straight up dark. I'm gonna say that.
I'm gonna make it even.
That's the feeling I got. It was like weighing on my soul. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna make it even worse for you, boys. Right. I've been saving the best account for the last. I just got this story told to me about 2 weeks ago, and I've been sitting on this one for the right time.
Here he goes again.
Talk to an old boy who is. You want to guess what he does? He works for the state in Bennett Springs. He's a ranger in Bennett Springs.
I was going to say he works at the hatchery or some shit.
Yeah, he works at the hatchery.
Oh
He
my
said
God.
on one of his days off, he went fishing on the Niangua just up from the spring. Okay, that's toward Moon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe, well, if you floated from Moon Valley to Bennett Springs, it's about 3 miles by river.
So going up that road past the freaking creep house, the dog crap, hang a left, going back towards the hatchery. So it's somewhere between there and the bridge.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
He had hiked up following the river to find himself a good fishing spot. Okay. He says, so I'm fishing. He says, and it's right about dusk. He says, and the darker it gets, the more uneasy I'm feeling. He said, I just felt like something wasn't right. I said, what happened? He goes, I reeled my fishing line in. I put my pole up, and I was just getting ready to pack up my stuff to get the hell out of there. He said, the sun was slipping below the horizon. I said, okay. He goes, and then I realized I felt like something was staring at me. He says, and I turned and I looked upriver. And I said, upriver, would that be toward Moon Valley? He goes, yeah. He says, it probably would have been about halfway between Moon Valley and Bennett Springs. He said, I looked upriver, and standing in the water, and about knee deep in the water, about 100 yards from him, was a gaunt white figure. He said it looked like a person completely naked. They were completely pale. He said their eyes reflected red, and they were just standing in the water staring at me. He said, and I'm telling you, that's spring water. It was barely above freezing right then. He said that was a person. They would not have been standing there in that water for that long. He said, would have killed you. He said, so this thing stood in the water and stares at me. He said, I packed up my shit and started backing away. So I drew my pistol, kept it against my thigh, and I kept watching this thing as I made my way back down the river. I said, okay, what happened then? He goes, it never followed me. It just watched me until I finally went around a bend and lost sight of it. He said, once I lost sight of it, he said, all bets were off at that point. Once I couldn't see it anymore, I turned and ran. He said, I got back to my truck and I got back out there. And he says, I won't go up that way anymore. I said, what about Moon Valley? He said, boy, if you go up there, you're an idiot. I'm not going up there. I said, okay, when did this happen? He said, late January this year. When were we there, boys?
Early January.
Early January. Dear Lord. So, Robbie, you remember that splashing you heard in the creek?
I do.
And we couldn't catch anything on thermal or on eye shine?
Yep.
But I saw clear eye shine. Y'all saw clear eye shine from what I saw on thermal in the woods. But we never saw anything in the creek on thermal or that had eye shine because we were hitting that with white illume all the time.
He straight up told me, he said, I'm telling you this is one man to another, not as a park ranger, not any of that crap. I'm telling you, man to man, stay the fuck out of that valley.
Dude, okay, and just a guy who says I'm starting to think that each eye shine corresponds to cryptid: yellow, dogman, green, Bigfoot, red. Bro, that's, I mean, and so Ventus Bruma, given the stories and the cannibalism, it makes me wonder if they were also summoning things in rituals, because that would be a stretch. Yeah,
Brian's an old buddy of mine.
Never going camping with you guys. Yeah, you probably should, man.
Yeah, probably not.
But hey, what if those dudes, those cannibalism dudes? Because what's the common theme with Wendigo?
What did I tell you though? I
excess.
said that same thing. Me and you were sitting in your hotel room, and I said, dude, there's something evil about that because you don't do stuff like that as a normal person and
You
think,
did.
you
Yes,
know what?
you
I think I'm going to just make it a little bit easier to get meat. I'm just going to substitute it for people's.
You
That's
did.
not what-
I know a guy that I went to high school with, that he's half Native American. His mother was full-blood Native American, but I went to high school with a guy. He still lives out by Bennett Springs. And he told me, he said, I can't tell you for a fact, but there's something evil in that valley, and I'd stay the hell out of it.
Okay, so
I'm
Dr.
telling you.
45 120 Sharp says, so how many types of cryptids do you think you crossed at Moon Valley? I think
Well, this was told to me by my buddy Wes, who's Navajo. He lives here. He was a deputy sheriff with me. Wes told me that once, like the cannibalism incident, he said, once something that dark stains a place like that, it attracts all manner of dark entities. He said, God knows what you'll run into down there. He said, there is no way to cleanse that valley without bringing in, as many freaking shaman as you can find to cleanse the entire valley. Yeah. He said, that place is tainted, it's evil, and he said, you're a fool if you spend the night down there.
It is dark, man. Like I said, I felt it. It's palpable. It literally felt like it was pushing on my soul. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to be flip or anything like that. It felt oppressive in that valley. I know Robbie backs it up, and I know you and Noah will back it up too. Oh, good question.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm gonna look up ley lines and see if anything comes even close.
Dude, I'm gonna trip out if there's a freaking intersection right there where that bridge is.
That would be mind blowing.
It would actually make a lot of damn sense.
Yeah, it would. If there's a ley line intersection right there where that bridge is in Moon Valley,
we found out there's a convergence in LBL.
Is there? That makes sense.
Yep.
DA, it sounds like you could possibly encounter my ex in that valley. Northwoods never disappoints. Every show, you're good for several zingers, sir. Angela Monroe, you're right. That is crazy.
I'm trying to find a map of ley lines that show Missouri. Let me save this image, and then I'll bring it up.
Bless you, Doc.
Bless you, Doc.
Bless you, Doc.
Excuse me.
Okie finokie. Let me pull this image up.
So anyway, I started blasting.
That's right.
Oh, just a guy. Of course, we'll play that next time we go.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let me share.
We're not that smart. I mean, come on, quit giving us that much credit.
This is a map of ley lines of the United States, including focal points. Okay. Notice where one big one is.
Fuck me. Sorry.
Wouldn't that be the Bermuda Triangle? And another big convergence is in Mexico near the border, probably right below Arizona. Now, zooming in on this, granted it's going to get a little grainy. Missouri is right here. In fact, you can vaguely see the word Springfield. Okay, we've got a line running right here that's like east of us, and then we got another ley line that runs just outside of Springfield. Now, that goes north. Moon Valley should be right about there.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's directly on the ley line, but that line goes real damn close to it. If it ain't through it, it's near it. It's near it.
So look at that intersection below Springfield and above Oklahoma City.
Right there?
No, next one over to your right.
Right here? Or here?
Yep. Over here. Yep, that one right there.
Okay.
Is that near Branson or not?
That's just south of Branson.
There you go.
Right just across the Arkansas line where that guy was mauled to death by a bear.
Ain't that crazy?
That's almost spot on. Just outside of Harrison, Arkansas. That's just and less than 20 miles from Branson.
And where were we seeing some weird stuff? Down
right about here.
Yep. So lots of energy convergence there. Oh, just a guy who. Sorry, folks, but could someone explain what a ley line is? DA?
Okay. I will give you the textbook. The textbook answer.
Because I would give you the redneck
answer. Ley lines are a supposed straight line connecting three or more prehistoric or ancient sites, sometimes regarded as the first line of a former track and associated by some with the lines of energy and other paranormal phenomena. Ley lines are straight theoretical alignments drawn between various historical and prehistoric sites like ancient monuments and prominent landmarks. The concept was popularized by Alfred Watkins in the 1920s, who initially proposed that they were ancient pathways, but the idea has since been adopted by New Age and esoteric traditions who believe they carry spiritual energy. While discussed academic archaeology, ley lines are a popular subject in paranormal beliefs.
What he said.
It's an energy conduit,
Right.
Yep.
basically. It's like a paranormal energy superhighway.
And the more you have converging around an area,
For more stuff.
more stuff usually happens.
Yeah, and the
Roxanne says, "Do you think a Wendigo could go into the body of a bear? If it's a dark nature spirit or a demon, like we kind of think, it could go into anything, including a Bigfoot."
Yeah, and in 4 UPD, Southwest U.S. should be a good hotspot. It is. Sedona, Arizona, has huge amounts of conductivity there. So, pretty crazy. Oh, Mrs. Moon, we have a ley line that crosses a few miles south of us. Can't get to it because the city put up towers and fences. I know. We all three did the same thing at the same time. We're like, muy interesante.
Let me bring that image back up. I'm going to check something. I'm not going to bring it up on screen, but I'm just going to look at something.
That's interesting.
Since she brought that up, guys, the one I said goes just to the east of us. If my geography is correct in my brain, it should go right over about almost directly over the top of Smiddle Cave.
Your geography.
If I'm correct, that ley line should go just about smack over the top of Grove Springs, Missouri.
Hey, so why don't you throw that link up in the
ley line link?
The co-host chat. Yeah, the ley line link.
I'll just put the picture up I'll throw it in the chat, co-host chat.
What is the big intersection of ley lines in the Southwest? I want to say N4 UPD. I want to say it's like around Sedona.
It looks like it's just right on the Arizona-Mexico border.
Okay.
So be closer to Tucson.
Tucson, yeah, okay.
Maybe even
Tombstone, where I'm going to be in a few days, and I will be doing a ghost hunt down there in Tombstone.
Well, Tombstone's haunted, so that would stand to reason.
Well, I'm staying in China Mary's old house, so
I just sent you that image, boys.
Thank you, sir.
And for any of you folks playing the home game, if you want a map of the ley lines, just go on Google and search ley line map, LEYLINE, 2 words, ley line map, and then go to Google Images and you'll find dozens of them. Dr. 45 says that explains your internet problems.
Well, there's your problem.
But there are 2 ley lines that pass within spitting distance of Springfield.
That's interesting.
Kevin Bode said, "Did you see Louisiana?" I was not paying attention to Louisiana. Let me pull that rascal back up and take a look. Oh, yeah. There's a smaller nexus, and looks like if I had to guess, it's right near New Orleans. No, it's not. That's in East Texas. That's across the border. That's in East Texas.
Well, there's one just south of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Red Stick. Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah, if that yellow line is a good indicator that nexus is in East Texas near the Louisiana border.
The literal translation would be stick red, but
yeah.
So, what goes on in East Texas? Would that be the massive amount of sightings in the big thicket country?
Yeah.
The big thicket.
Yeah, there's several confluences in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, right down here, close to my area in Colorado Springs. Wow. Huh. Interesting.
And the closer you are to a nexus point, the more clusters of paranormal energy you're supposed to encounter.
Correct.
Springfield's not near a nexus point, but it has two passing damn close, two lines.
Yeah, it's akin to a hub in like an airline or a train station or a bus station, something like that. You're going to get a lot more traffic there. Yeah, a lot of Bigfoot sightings there in East Texas and Big Thicket Country. Dr. 45-120.
Boys, do you mind talking amongst yourselves? I have to take care of some business. I will be right back.
All right. Go ahead. So, Robbie.
Yes.
I mean, I think that the ley lines and everything have a definite connection there because it's energy. I mean, these things are attracted to energy.
Well, like we talked about when Johnny and I were in the LBL, and everything was playing fine. We were backstage 30 minutes before the show started. Everything was fine. 10 seconds into the show, everything just dies.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler's computer was fully charged, like 80-something%. Just miraculously died as soon as everything. So we started looking into it after that, and that's when DA found that there's like 3 different ley lines that converge right around that place.
It's energy conduits, man, and I think that because if you look at where a lot of paranormal activities are, if you look at I'm going off topic here, shocker, but look at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. It's built on there's a large quartz deposit right underneath the freaking hotel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's huge, man.
Roddy, no, we're gonna. I think DA said we're gonna try to talk to him tomorrow. We just got the number. We figured out all that stuff, and we're gonna try to get all 3 of us in there to talk to him.
And Brian says, how about a comparison and contrast? Compare and contrast. We're going to compare and contrast the Wendigo and the Rougarou. Different
Apples and oranges.
Very different.
Different.
The Rougarou would be. This is a total. Ryan, don't kill me with this one because I know if you're still in there. But the Rougarou would be more akin to the Skinwalker than it would be Wendigo. Because a Rougarou
is a curse.
Yeah, it's a curse, but it's not only a werewolf type shape. There have been people reported with gators, wild hogs. What else, DA? I mean, it's more commonly with a wolf, but most any big predator that you find in them swamps, you can say that the Rougarou would take that shape. I think I've even heard some of them say alligator gar. They've seen it take that shape before.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, them things are scary enough as he is. Much less if they can come up out of the water and get you.
DCAT says, wasn't there a nexus in the Fort Campbell Mammoth Cave area? Yeah, I was looking at the map. It looks like it's probably very close to Fort Campbell /LBL. And that Mammoth Caves go through that whole area.
Yeah, Ryan wants to know, did you show it? Yeah, Ryan, I saw it, man. Yeah. DA showed it to me right before the show.
Just a guy. I think Wachuga is another name for a Wendigo. I think it's just a different tribal name. That would probably be a better question for Ryan Paul Tremblay if he's still in the chat. But I'm pretty sure the Wachuga is just a different tribal name for the Wendigo. Forrester says Louisiana ley lines got his attention.
Well,
Can't do that.
I'm
smoking me some boudin tomorrow from the Best Stop in Lafayette.
Boudin.
I love me some boudin. Redneck haggis, man. That's all it is.
Redneck haggis.
Pretty much.
I've never heard it called that before. That's freaking awesome.
I've been calling it redneck haggis for years, and I was like, I grew up eating boudin. I was like, I ate haggis over in Scotland. I was like, boudin is just redneck haggis or Cajun haggis, man. That's all it is. It's everything but the oink.
Cajuns will make a gumbo out of anything. That's why aliens don't land there.
Industrious folk they are.
I wonder how that tastes in a gumbo.
Delicious.
Ooh, boy, that one must like guarantee.
Yes, delicious is how
Throw a
it
little
tastes.
Tony Sachets on it, and you are good to go.
It's delicious. That's how it tastes.
I put Tony Sachets in everything. I put Tony Sachets in spaghetti sauce.
I
Some
pulled me a
snapping.
pinch of salt right there. That right there is a pinch of salt.
A
Gigantic.
little bit of slap your mama, maybe some Karchner seasoning, some Best Stop. Yeah.
Oh, boys. Oh, dude. You take some flour, some Tony Sachets, a little salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. Mix that up in a bag. Coat your chicken in it when you fry it. Oh,
Girl,
That make the jackrabbit slap the bear.
what I'm talking about.
that Tony Sachets gives it just a wonderful bite.
There's a little bit of kick, and man. I mean, my mama grew up 10 minutes from Slidell, Louisiana. So, yeah, I grew up eating all that good stuffs. So, yeah, I'm gonna smoke me some boudin.
Hey, y'all are.
Got me some andouille, some tasso. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, no problem. There's at some point with the night we're going to deviate onto food anyway. It's
That
just
was
going
my
to
bad.
happen. At least we were
Okay.
close to the end of the
We're-
show.
We are an hour and 53 minutes into the show before we
Oh,
deviated.
we did. Let me ask y'all something. Have y'all ever had pork skins like fried, like chicharrones?
Mhm.
Steak skins,
You
right?
go down to if you guys get up here, I can take you guys down to Silver Dollar City. They make them fresh right there in the park. You can get them rather hot.
Okay, so in Louisiana, at these little boudin and sausage places, they have cracklings. They have pork
Pork
cracklings,
cracklings.
but wait, they also have chicken cracklings.
That sounds pretty damn good.
It's chicken skin with the seasons on it.
Mm.
Oh Lord!
It is not good for you in any way, shape, or form. But I'm sure it's tasty.
I'm gonna tell you what, it is delicious. Yeah, it's fine with a PHINE. Fine. I'm sorry. Mary Cole, they showed the best stop here in our town. Good for you, man. Y'all lucky.
We just got a it opened this earlier. No, I think it opened late last year. We just got a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, we got it. Well,
Yeah, it was after me, you, and Noah went there and ate one night.
oh,
It ain't been here that long. Maybe a year.
was it there? No, it wasn't there when I was there. When I was there, was it?
Yeah, well, it was because
Was it?
time the three of us went, we just didn't go there when you were there because the
That's
time
right.
before that is when the three of us went there because it was we got back from
That's
the
right.
woods or something.
Yep.
Hey,
Because
we
we
were
were
hungry.
and you and DA and Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's right.
It was like, well, we're hungry, but if we don't want to wait 3 hours, so because Whataburger you said would it would have been 3 hours before we got our food, so we had to drive down to Buc-ee's, Busey's.
Busey's. Man, dude, we stayed on topic pretty good. Everybody, if you have any questions, comments, any stories you want to share, send them to DA over at daroberts.net. DA Roberts at daroberts.net and get the stories or encounters or anything you want us to share because your encounters just make our shows better, just enriches our content, and it helps make it more relevant because it's your experience, man, and your experience is your experience. Nobody's gonna discount you, but even if you want to remain anonymous, just send it in to him and we'll get it up for you. Okay, that's all I got to say for pitching the show.
That's all he got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to talk about something here just a minute. You boys,
Hey.
this okay? Y'all see this all right?
Yeah,
I can see some of it. Yeah, it says disappearances.
I can't see nothing yet.
Let me stop it and start sharing again. Maybe Robbie can see it. Because sometimes it doesn't always pop up Let's share the screen one more time.
Mr. Anderson, cryptid story, sir. Cryptid story, please.
Okay. Here we go. You guys see it? This is a map of Moon Valley.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, there's that damn bridge.
Yep. Right here, about here is where we parked. Okay.
See?
Now, let me zoom out just a little bit. Still got the cursor right on it. Bennett Springs is right up the road. Now, where he said he had his sighting would have been about here.
Okay.
Now, just to kind of give you an idea, we're coming into Moon Valley now. Niagara kind of snakes its way through there, and there's Moon Valley. Maybe a mile upriver.
I can show you exactly on that cursor. Go to your left.
Would have been right over here where you saw it.
Correct. Right up in there. Dude, right there at that bench.
And right in through here is where that one was trying to get in between me and Robbie and you guys.
Yep.
But
Robbie and I got to about here.
the splash, though, was back down.
Was it down this way or this? Which way was it?
Yeah, up.
By that sandbar.
Right in. It was somewhere right on the back side of that sandbar, right in there. Right in that area, right there.
Yep.
And nothing showed up on thermal.
Nope. Not a lick. Because I was scanning the ever living poop out of it.
Because you were looking down the downriver, and Doc was standing next to me, and I was standing there, and I heard something splash, and I snapped my head around. Doc said, "What?" I said, "Did you hear that splash over there?" He goes, "Well, I heard something, but I wasn't sure what it was." And he started scanning over there, and he because you would know we're up on the.
I was looking this way because I heard something somewhere right in here crossing the river, but it also did not show up on thermal.
And because I told Robbie, I said, point out to where you heard it, and I grabbed his arm, and I put my head, I trained my head in that direction. I didn't see a freaking thing, man.
Boys, all of this area right here used to be a campground. I can't not tell you how many times I've camped out there.
Nope.
I usually camped right over here along this side by the river.
See, hey, guess what? I can tell you how many times I'm gonna camp there.
Zero. Well, it's all private property now. You can't camp there.
I don't care.
But boys,
He says time to unask the AO. 100%.
Boys, this is the parking area where the boat ramp is at Moon Valley. You know what I have discovered? You can't see it on this map, but there is a trail that leads out of the north end of here that just follows the river. I don't know how far back it goes, but I want to find out.
Okay.
It heads somewhere upriver.
Let's do it.
Okay. You boys get your ass to Missouri.
I'm game.
We need to plan another one.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I just got to get some help.
And the road's right here. But what this does not show you is from where the road. What the hell just happened? Okay. From where the road changes. Yeah, something went crazy with my computer. From right here where this curve is, where the road turns, this entire stretch is all uphill. So what you're seeing right there in the trees next to that road is bluff, because this road goes up to the top of the valley, then turns and leaves. The valley actually drops down probably a couple 100 feet. And I don't know how well you can see them. God dang it. I don't know how well you can see them, but over here, that's all bluff loaded with caves. And over here on this side is bluff that's loaded with caves. Robbie and I found those.
Yep.
There's tons of caves down there. But that's all private property now, and I don't know how to get in there. I've been trying to find out who owns it, but thus far it has been unsuccessful. However, this side of the river over here, right in here, is still state property. and it's marked. It's public use area. You can't camp there. No one does. But if we parked up here and followed that trail, I don't know where it goes or how far. But considering what's happened in Moon Valley, every time we've been down there lately, we're not going unarmed, and we're not going with just the three of us. We're probably going to take between 4 and 6 folks.
I bet Wyatt would go with us.
Oh, I'm sure Wyatt'd go. Wyatt'd be down like 4 flat tires. Noah'd go.
Get on a seesaw.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Good talk. Yeah.
And right over here where we used to camp, because we would drive back and set up our camp over here so we could fish and stuff. Dude, down over here along this water, we used to find Indian arrowheads like they were going out of style.
Man, I ain't never found a freaking arrowhead. Ever.
We found tons of them down there.
Man, I wish. My brother found one out in the field. My daddy was plowing one time by our house.
I've still got a spear tip I found down there.
Man, lucky.
Dude, we go down there. If we hike along that path, if we can get up into this area on the river, we start watching that gravel, you're going to find something.
Man,
that valley was Osage land.
I'd be happier than a fat kid in a cake shop if I found something like that. I ain't going to lie.
Dr. 45 says he'd be willing to go with us.
Hell yeah. Bring you 45, 120.
I bet Forrester would go. Forrester's armed to the teeth like the rest of us.
We'll have a whole QRF.
Damn right.
Quick response force for those of you who don't know what that means.
That is correct, sir. And also in Robbie's latest book that is going to be coming out. All right, it's already out. He writes so fast I can't keep up because he is like the end, and I'm starting out with Once Upon a Time.
Doc, that's the cannibal house right there. What's left of it.
Good. I hope you die.
And if I'm correct, I think the doll village is right about here.
You're evil. I'm going to say, I knew you were going to point that crap out.
In fact, you can kind of see the structures.
I don't want to see the structures.
But let's go on up. There's only just a couple houses out there. But there's
all the cars.
And the ones that you can't see because they're in the trees.
That's like freaking dusk till dawn, man.
Dude, that is like a freaking...
It's
like
like
a salvage lot.
Wrong turn. Especially that other side.
Cars.
I mean, look at that.
What they would do if a flashbang went off in their lap? I just wonder.
I mean, look at that. Looks just like the scene where they ran out of the woods in Wrong Turn.
And can I say this, folks? There's more cars than that. There's more cars than that.
Does that not look like a car in the water?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Maybe more than one.
I'd be scared to know what's at the bottom of that little pond.
They got to put the bones somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Or if they got pigs. If they got hogs, this is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Well, let's have us a look.
I'll be right back, boys. I'm
that looks like that could be a hog pen.
I'll be right back. Good Lord.
Yeah, that could be a hog pen, but hard to tell. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a bunch of hog pens back there, though.
Yeah, that looks like a hog pen. Looks like it's got little shelter buildings and a fenced-off area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of areas that look like they could be animal pens of some sort. There's one. Maybe this area here, too. It's hard to say for sure. And none of this you can see from the road. These you can kind of see from the road. And if you drive down this gravel road going down into Moon Valley, Yeah, you can see a lot of them there, but this fence row's grown up pretty good, so you can only kind of see them. I would like to get a drone in there.
Oh, I'd love to be able to get my drone in there, but
Other than that place right there, I think this is the only occupied dwelling on that side of Moon Valley. This, I think this is a hunting cabin, but it's abandoned now.
It feels like every time we drive by that,
burnt down.
It feels like every time we drive by that house right there, it feels like somebody's watching us, though.
Oh yeah. Well, I went down there one time, and went down there with a net before. This is back before I heard the cannibal story. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I was just taking pictures in Moon Valley, and somebody came from this direction in a car and asked me what the fuck I was doing down there. And I said, none of your damn business. So I said, I'm down here just taking pictures. Well, what are you doing down here? I'm like, you don't need to know. I said, well, why? He's like, well, we just don't like people coming down here. I said, well, that's public use area right there. State of Missouri says I can be here. So, and he got a little belligerent with me, and I may or may not have inadvertently moved my shirt so he could see that I was strapped. May not have done that. And he may not have gotten the fuck out of there, but he was making me really nervous. So yeah, I very casually pushed my shirt back so I could get to my pew-pew quickly because he was starting to make me real damn nervous. Hillary asked, did they run an auto salvage at one time? Not to my knowledge. And I grew up there. Someone, Dr. 45 says, do you have any contacts in Wendyville? I got cousins that live out near that area. And E.D. Testerman's got contacts that live out that way. Anyway, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, Just Ryan said it looks like a dump site for car insurance fraud. They don't usually put those out in plain sight.
Yeah, those would be back here like this.
Yeah. Car insurance fraud, usually it's like, oh, somebody stole my car. They're not out there where you can just see them.
I'm telling you, there just ain't many people that live in that valley. There's Moon Valley Ranch. That's the, shall we say? No, wait, that's this. The School of Metaphysics. That's
the School of Metaphysics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just say it rhymes with cult.
Okay.
It starts with a C and ends with ULT.
Yeah. Draw your own conclusions.
Angie's over here watching.
What the hell is that?
What the hell?
It's like a big dome of some sort.
Got my dog.
That was where they have their big telescope, probably.
Metaphysics is not the study of stars. Metaphysics is another name for the occult.
Like Little Patty Witchcraft School. That's like Southern Hogwarts.
Yeah. But there's seems to be a abundance of vehicles there as well.
Mm.
But thank you, Challen.
Yeah.
Looks like
Angie says,
where you put a telescope.
Does that movie Wrong Turn ring a bell?
That's what I just. How many times have I said that, DA? I said that looks like the scene at a Wrong Turn.
Guys, Angie, I don't know what this is.
Angie just said that. You go to Mama?
I tell you, it looks like a freaking place where you put a big telescope. Challen even said it.
It looks like the top of a missile silo.
Lasers. Sorry.
Laser beam.
I need sharks with freaking laser beams on their head, people. I need the info.
Boys, I don't know what that is.
It's the unknown, DA.
Preparations.
Oh, dude. You talking about... Oh, you were talking about that? Why would they stash vehicles back here in the woods? That's a guarantee. Look at that. That's like a pickup or something. And that's either a building or multiple vehicles.
It could just be stranded.
Mm-hmm.
Where? Yeah, there's no road.
where there's no road. It could just be stranded where there's no road. I know.
This looks like this might have been like a where they would go out and leave hay or something. Oh,
Yeah,
dude, what the hell is that?
They've been stranded so long that there ain't no road no more.
Is that like a hillbilly Stonehenge?
It's a druid circle.
There's some straight up occult shit going on out there. What the hell is that?
That and a lot of meth.
Guys, this looks like
one for each of you.
I don't know. This looks like maybe the beginnings of like a druid circle or a Native American medicine wheel. Well, okay. Oh, another car in the woods. Okay, if this is a car, that's not a drum circle because it's like 3 times the length of a car. What the hell is that? That circle is probably 30 feet across. Maybe more. Thank you for the super chat, Ventus. Appreciate it. I'm at a loss, boys. I don't know what the hell that is.
Curious.
It's a Rasante.
Yeah, I don't have a clue what this is, but this is even bigger than. Well, they look like they're similar size.
What's a helicopter landing zone? What in the world would you need to be landing a helicopter in the middle of all that for?
Yeah, when you could easily land a helicopter right out here, next to the houses. I mean, right there. You know, any of these spots over here would be big enough for a chopper.
Look at Hillary says it has 12 markers, just like a clock.
Okay, let's go back and look at that. If that's markers like a clock, they're off. They're off time. Those are closer together than those two. Thank you, Miriam. Appreciate it. So what is that?
A Riri clock?
Boys, the more we dig into this, the weirder it gets.
Curiouser and curiouser, sir.
This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Correct.
Myself, Doc, and DA do not plan to go missing at any time in the near future.
Correct. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's other houses out there. None of them have those weird round circles. I remember driving by this place. They got a ton of cattle.
Yeah, it's just
I would
before the
I
show
would like to
starts.
get back in there and lay eyes on these things, but I got a feeling if I went in there, I probably ain't coming back out.
Oh, I'm coming back out. I promise you.
Or there's going to be a hell of a lot of brass, a lot of
I'm about to
shooting
say-
to explain.
I might be lighter than when I went in.
Lighter by a few hundred rounds.
Uh-huh. I'm coming back out.
I would very much like to get a better look at this to see what these are. And that's the best view we're going to get with Google Earth because it's so far back in the woods you could not even see that with Google Street, if Google Street even goes by it. Now, I don't know if Google Street View goes by goes down those gravel roads. Because that's a gravel road. Don Donaldson says it's a big sundial. Maybe. I'm thinking more like some sort of ritual circle.
Interesting. So let's say this: could they be calling in some dark energies? You think?
Or focusing the ones that are already there.
I'd say that's a very distinct possibility, Doc.
See, more than just a hat rack, my friends.
I'm not going to make any statements that might get me disappeared or anything, but I wonder if this was tied to.
I will say this: anybody that wants to come try to make me disappear, it's going to be a route. You better bring a lunch because it's going to be an all-day job.
Hey, Mal.
Wonder if that was tied to what happened over here.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
This is Moon Valley Ranch. So there is another house out there. It just looks like a regular house. I don't see anything weird in the woods around it.
Bro, I would not have a house out there at all.
Brother, like I said, when I was a teenager, that valley felt like the safest place in the world to me. When I was having a lot of issues with my dad, that's where I would go to get my head right.
Yeah,
but you had no clue what was going on right under your nose, though.
Yeah, it's knucking futs right now, man.
Well, I tell you, from the time I left Lebanon, joined the military, got married, came back after my kids were born, the entire feeling of that valley changed.
Bro, well,
night and day.
I mean, because the first night that I went there, Robbie's like, "How do you feel?" I said, "It feels heavy, man. It feels dark." And
first time he took me there, I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, dude, you get the creeps, don't you?
Yeah,
you get the freaking creeps, man.
Well, there's something wrong here.
Yeah, it is creepy. Oh, show.
Speaking of creepy,
Eric said it. The place is heavy with dark energy and magic. I mean, you could feel it. It's off. That place is off.
100%, man.
This is Joe Bald.
I recognize that place.
Yep.
Right about here is where we found that blind, right?
Yep. And down closer to the lakes where we found the footprint that got.
The last time I was down there, boys, you see where the water is right now? The last time I was down there, the water was all the way up into here. It was up to these rocks, and that bank's fairly steep, but this area over here is a little more leveled out. The water was like all the way up to these rocks, and then like up into here and down. Lake was really up. So tomorrow, I don't know how far up it'll be, but I'm definitely going in there. I'm going to take some pictures. Ventus, thank you. He says look up the school's address and you can get pics. Well, that is a pretty good idea. I'm going to Google that school.
Good call. Hey, and thank y'all for hanging in here with us. We've only dropped a few folks out, and we understand that some folks have to go, but I mean, we've been at this for
we're 20 minutes over our 2-hour mark.
Yeah, so thank y'all for hanging in here with us. This is some interesting stuff. Yeah, Harold Goodell has a good point. Do a property tax search.
I think we did that one time already, didn't we, DA?
Yeah, and
that's interesting.
Check this out, okay? I think you boys are going to like this. That was a good idea, suggesting that. This is the symbol for the School of Metaphysics. That's that round building. Oh, yeah, that's not creepy in any way, shape, or form.
Nope. That's totally. I see nothing. Yep.
100% normal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what you see every day.
Yeah, every day. Every day.
I mean, there's one of them right down the road. What are you talking about?
I mean, I do live in Colorado, so that's not too far off the mark. But yeah, so freaking Colorado. Anyway,
Freaking Colorado. Yeah, there's you. Well, that's not cult like at all.
Not even a little bit.
Not even. I don't even understand what you're talking about, man.
I mean,
this just gets a little weirder the farther we get.
The further down the rabbit hole we go, the weirder it gets.
They refer to that as the Peace Dome.
Yeah, that's what Cryptid just said. Is the Peace Dome.
They refer to themselves as the Universal Peace Covenant.
all righty.
Okay. Good show.
Doc, I ain't got my yellow BS flag, but I got the green one. Go ahead and throw the real one.
Yeah.
Doc threw the BS flag on that DA.
For sure. Okay. So, what have we learned tonight, boys and girls?
Moon Valley's weird.
There's
Valley's weird.
just something not right about that valley.
Something not right there. Number 3, don't go camping with us there or anywhere else. The more you delve into the things around Moon Valley, the stranger things get.
Wendigo like it cold,
And they're calling for a very bad winter this year.
and they like Doc snowmobiles.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that painful reminder.
Don, I will dig into that tonight after the show. See if I can pull up tax records on that'd be Dallas County. So not exactly civilization as most people understand the word. I'm not even sure if their records are computerized. That is it's kind of like that. And I would not want to be a cop in Dallas County because most nights on the overnights there might be one officer on duty for the entire county.
Holy crap.
Some nights none.
You're on your own.
It is a tiny department.
I've worked by myself. No, I mean not a whole county, but I've worked by myself many nights in the place that I work right now. And
Well, when I worked at Walnut Grove, almost every night I worked, I was the only one on duty.
Govern yourself, folks. Govern yourself.
Yeah. What is it Walt Longmire said? I am 911.
I am 911.
That's why folks in Missouri generally handle shit. Because
hey, I found out real quick, like my second or third night by myself, I was really, and when I say by myself, I was supposed to be just in my car by myself, but I was literally like by myself because the guy who was supposed to work with me took like the weekend off, and I got a call. There was 30 plus people fighting at one time. I learned real quick how jumping out of the car and racking a shotgun disperses a crowd really fast.
that is the universal language for get the hell out of my yard. The racking of a 12 gauge speaks every language.
It's also the universal language for, oh crap, here's the police. We got to get out of here.
It's the popo. Run for your lives.
Backing an ambulance up at a high rate of speed into what can also only be described as a scrum also helps disperse the crowd.
I bet it does.
Physics.
That'll do it.
Physics wins every time.
Yes, it do. Boys, it is coming up on the bottom of the hour. We still got a lot of people watching, but we probably ought to go ahead and start winding things down. I've got a bunch of crap I got to get done tonight. Plus, I want to get up early and planning on going down to Joe Bald tomorrow. And start, like I said, we'll start winding things down. Before we do, let's talk just a minute about our amazing affiliates. Starting with this little fella right down here. Doc, tell us a little bit about Dark Angel Medical.
Hey, folks. So Dark Angel Medical is a labor of love. We make anything from your minor trauma kits up to your major mass casualty trauma kits. And not only that, we also provide the training on it because that's the most important aspect of it. It's great to have a kit, but you need to know how to use the kit and what's in it and when to use it, when it's appropriate to use it. So head over to darkangelmedical.com, use a coupon code cryptid20 for 20% off your order. That coupon code does not expire. It's good for anything on our site. And if you use one of our kits in the course of saving someone's life, then you will be rewarded by whatever you have used, by us replacing it 100% free of charge. That's called our Kit for Life guarantee. And we are now at 210 saves, 3 saves in the last week, which is pretty freaking awesome, man. And also, all of our kits are HSA, FSA eligible. So if you got a HSA or FSA account, head over to darkangelmedical.com. Use that coupon code crypto20 and get your kit and get some training and be the difference.
Birthdays in boxes.
Birthdays and boxes, man, 100%.
Yeah, Robbie, you want to tell us about a little bit about our other one? One of our other ones?
This one? Or this one? Or both of them? Scallywag Tactical is another one of our affiliates, veteran owned. Craig and his boys make some of the best knives you can find. As you've seen over the past, betwixt the three of us, we got a lot of these we got
a crap load of cutlery.
We got a lot of these stabby pokey things in all different shapes and sizes. Doc's got the bounty. This is the Redonda, and I think it's just called the Karambit in the DA. There's not
it's just Karambit.
To be the Jolly Roger right there in DA's hand. Point is, they make some good stuff. If you like knives, if you like sharp, stabby things, you like the sharpy stuff. Do you do it? I broke Doc. Sorry,
Robbie can't be trusted with anything sharp. Put his eye out.
He put my eye out with the sharpie stuff. Sharp, stabby, pokey things.
Yes.
Those things. Head on over to Scallywag Tactical. Check them out. Have they re-upped their blemish blades? The last time we looked,
I have not seen the blemish blades in a while.
Yeah, I didn't see it yesterday. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But that's something you can check out too. Use code DA Roberts 10 at checkout. That also applies to the blemish blades if they've got anything. The thing about the blemish blades is a lot of times there's nothing wrong with the knives. It
might be a broken box.
Yeah, a box got crushed or something like that, and he's not going to sell that. They're really big on customer service there. Go check them out. Tell them we sent you. Code DA Roberts 10 at checkout. That's all I got to say about that.
And if you buy a knife, buy a med kit. Just saying.
Damn right. Yeah. Or a pew-pew for that matter. If you carry a pew-pew, you should be carrying a med kit. But check out our latest affiliate. That's the good folks over at Sigwo Arms. That's sigwoarms.com. And use they can get your custom wild hunt gear on your favorite pew-pew. I have the first off the line that they have made, a custom AR with the Wild Hunt logo, codename Wild Hunt on the side. I'm going to get that colored in so it shows up better. But they make pretty much anything, and they make it in-house. They are a manufacturer. So if you want to purchase anything, it can be shipped to any FFL in the United States. Check them out. They're also making their own ammo now. And I'm going to double check a price real quick. But one of my old lieutenants, you guys have heard me mention him before, Lieutenant Jenkins. He went there today, and he got, I think it was 100 rounds of 9mm for right at, I think it was $35 or $40.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it was not bad at all. And that's not the only thing they make. You can get 223 5/556 very inexpensively. They're manufacturing it all in-house. They're doing 300 blackout. They're doing pretty much all the major calibers. Check them out for your Freedom Seed Freedom Seed distribution devices and your Freedom Seeds. And if you'd like a really solid whisper pickle, they're getting law enforcement trade-ins, which is the one I got. They're former law enforcement, and they're the kind, and I will show you the end. I don't have it yet because I'm waiting on the tax stamp, but it just slides right over this and twists and locks into place. You don't have to thread it on like the old style. It just slides over the end of the flash suppressor and locks that quickly. And the only thing you're really going to hear is bolt slap. So they've got a bunch of those currently in stock, and they get them in all the time. And for those of you who follow the news, after January 1, there will not be a $200 tax stamp on Whisper Pickles. You'll just be able to get them at cost. And they are very reasonable on those. And check out sigwalarms.com. Tell the Codys, there's two guys in there that named Cody that run the place. Tell the Codys we sent you, and use discount code Bigfoot5 to get 5% off your entire order. And that does include ammunition. Now, as we have talked about with the Wendigo and all of these legends, it is easy to sit in a chair safe in your home and say these things don't exist. Same thing with Bigfoot, same thing with Dogman. It's easy to sit in a comfortable chair in your home safely behind your closed doors with locks in place and say these things can't possibly exist. But as Carl Kolchak said from the old TV show The Night Stalker, judge for yourself the believability and then try to tell yourself, wherever you may be, it couldn't happen here. And there's a reason there's thousands upon thousands of eyewitness sightings. So whether you choose to believe or not is up to you. All we can do is provide you with the information, the decisions and and believability is entirely in your hands. And another thing I want to stress is there are no experts in this field. Anybody that tells you otherwise is lying to you or trying to sell you something. There are no experts in this field. So whatever theories y'all have are just as valid as anything we've got. But our theories are based on field time and observation, plus collected stories, observed behavior from other researchers. So when we put something out there, we put some thought into it. We're not just as Doc would say, blowing smoke up your kilt. We put a lot of thought into this, and we put a lot of foot time, boots on the ground time in the field. Again, what Kolchak said, tell yourself it couldn't happen here, because it can. So as we're winding things down, I always want to mention the 22 a Day Foundation. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and that is 22 too many. Check on your friends and family that are first responders. Check on your friends and family who are military veterans or active duty. Let them know you're thinking about them. Let them know you care, because you never know when that one text or phone call is what keeps them off the edge that day. Anybody that's served in uniform has got a demon to deal with. Anybody that's suffered PTSD, doubly so. Facing these demons is some of the hardest things these men and women will ever have to do in their lives, and they need to know they're not facing these demons alone. Whatever you do, folks, if you're hearing me now, if you're a veteran, first responder, if you've dealt with this stuff, don't let the hard days win, because at least 22 times a day they are. And let's get 22 a day down to zero where it belongs to be. And I did it last week, and since Doc is here, I think I'm going to ask Doc to lead us out. But folks, if you guys will raise a glass and join us, doesn't matter what you're drinking, doesn't matter what it is, water, doesn't matter. Just raise a glass with us as we take the show out with an amazing toast.
So this is from the Irish drinking song, "The Parting Glass." But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Slàinte.
Slàinte.
plains, the winds are howling, saloon doors swinging, shadows growling. 3 lawmen stand tough as rawhide. Yeah, Doc and DA, nothing can abide. Whiskey shots and poker faces, staring down the darkest spaces in this town where legends roam. These boys bring justice, sending evil home. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Jed's a howler, claws of steel. Doc's a biter, makes the devil real. But DA's a shifty one, a shape-shifting soul. Can turn to anything, takes any form, takes control. Tonight the chupacabras come to town, sucking the life from all around. But these lawmen, they ain't afraid. They'll face the darkness unafraid. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Bat wings flap, the air grows cold, a chill and trap. But these lawmen, they're ready to fight underneath the pale moonlight. Jed and Doc transform with a howl. DA shifts, becomes a night owl. Together they stand, a force so strong against the evil right in the road. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night.